Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is actually match 1 from the Everchosen Tournament. It is Tlaxtlan Soothsayer versus NinjaHund. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. So yeah, we wanted to recap some of the battles, myself, Turin and Italian Spartacus. So yeah, we're going to be doing that, so it should be a laugh. So as you can see, Tlaxtlan Soothsayer has the Red Duke leading his army of vampire counts. And the Red Duke, absolutely fantastic in this matchup. The dragon just has great armor piercing. They've got the breath attacks, which are really useful. He can get out of a fight and fly into the air, get another breath attack and charge again. It's wonderful. He's a really good lord for this. Also, you know, the zombie summons, brilliant. Invocation to Heck, brilliant. He has a lot of good uses, and also he has Elsif, which is just an absolute killer. So it lowers physical resistance, it lowers melee defense by a ton, and it lowers speed. So if you want something dead, yeah, you can just cast that on it and yeah, goon it. It's brilliant. So also, he has 2 Terrorgeist. He has one over here and one over here. There he is. Terrorgeist, again, similar to the Red Duke. You know, they've got the good armor piercing, but they've also got really good anti-large, so they're going to be very useful. And, of course, they have the breath attacks. They can get out of combat and dive back into it. It's very useful. These guys are fantastic. Also, he's got a couple of Fellbats. Fellbats are really good in this matchup. He's against Chaos, so being able to chase off Marauders is pretty useful. Marauder Horsemen, that is. You know, you can't have those missile focusing down your lords. So chasing them off with bats, just nice cheap way to do that. Also, he's got a ton of zombies. He's got 4 zombies in the front. He's got, I think it's 5 skeleton warriors in total. Oh no, he's got some more zombies. Okay, yeah, 6 zombies then. He's also got the dire pack. These guys, they do have anti-large, not great against armor, but you know, they've still got some good anti-large, and they'll be really nice and quick. They can chase off Marauder Horsemen and things as well, which is good. So the bats can take the flak, and then these guys can gobble them all up. So pretty useful. Or they can just bog things down, you know, amongst all this nonsense. Because all this nonsense will take all the hits while these guys get the anti-large in and get a bit of damage in, which would be nice. Also, basically the sort of centerpiece of the army is the Claw and a Gash. This thing, it'll slow stuff down that's near it, it'll heal everything up that's near it, and if it's in combat, it'll damage everything on the opposing side. So it's pretty damn cool, and it does have good anti-armor and anti-infantry, so sticking it in combat, it can actually get a lot of good work done to a lot of pretty good, expensive units. I think it's underrated in melee, to be honest. I always used to throw it in melee, even before they changed the sort of damaging mechanic. It used to be that you could just be near stuff and it would damage everything nearby. Now it has to be in melee for that to be active, but I always had it in melee anyway. I think these things are great. So yeah, a lot of fun. So, very cool build, and NinjaHund here, you see he's got 2 units of Chaos Knights with Lances. These guys, I mean, charge bonus of 80 is just astounding. So, a lot of good cycle charging, a lot of good management with the cavalry, and he'll be able to just keep hitting, you know, unit after unit and wipe out a lot of the chaff very quickly. And that damage will do a lot to things like Terrorgeist and the Red Duke and all sorts. It's just very powerful unit. Also, he has the Summoners of Rage. These guys, they have magic damage, which helps against ethereal units, if any of them are brought. But also, really good armor piercing and really good anti-large, so it'll help kill all those really scary things that are on the field. So, very useful. Also, Summoners of Rage, they get a free Chain Lightning that they can charge up while in melee. So, Chain Lightning be great for getting through some of the chaff as well. Also, has some more Dragon Ogres over here, so for the anti-large and the armor piercing, very nice. And its front line is actually just all Marauders. They have a few Chevrons to try and keep them in the fight for longer, but Fear and Terror may be a problem for these guys. If it wasn't for Archaon. Archaon, he has the Crown of Domination, so anything near him is actually going to be immune to Psychology, which definitely helps in this matchup. He's also got Law of Fire, which is just a vital law to bring against the vampire counts, I find. The Burning Skull can get rid of the chaff very quickly, and the Flaming Sword of Ruin really helps against all of those units that have regeneration, which is a lot of vampire counts units. Those are all weak to fire, so that really helps. Also, you know, it imbues magic damage as well, so that'll help against any ethereal units again. It's basically in this matchup, bringing ethereal units is suicide. So we are going to speed things up and see how it goes. So immediately NinjaHund is charging into the zombies, try and get rid of some of them. He's got to get rid of as much of this stuff as possible, or he's never going to be able to actually get a good surround on the Claw and a Gash, or any of the Terrorgeists. He has to get rid of this flak. So Tlaxtlan Soothsayer made a wise choice by just going super wide and super cheap. You know, it's just so many bodies to throw in the way, and with all the healing from the Claw and a Gash, unless you can wipe out a unit, it's just going to heal up again while something else takes to the front line. So it's going to be very difficult. So here you can see the Terrorgeist trying to help get rid of these Marauders, while all of the things that are basically dangerous to it are on the other side of the map. So you can see the Summoners of Rage charging in, there's some Hounds, Archaons charging in here, and more Knights all on this side, Burning Skull coming in. This is going to do a fair bit of damage, but he's actually kept pretty wide. He's kept his stuff spaced out, Soothsayer. So, yeah, these spells aren't going to be able to kill a huge amount of stuff. And a bit of an own goal there, charred through most of those Marauders. Marauders cannot hold up to that. If it's Chaos Warriors, they have the armor to basically withstand, you know, that damage. But these guys have very little armor, so they're going to get killed very quickly by, you know, an own goal like that. So here you can see just a huge amount of strength in here with all the Chaos Knights, the Dragon Ogres, Summoners of Rage, Archaon, everything is basically going in one side. He's just trying to punch through as best he can in one side here. So you can see another breath attack coming in, so it can be a lot of breath attacks in this battle, and they're going to really add up. I mean, you can see the Knights already have taken a ton of damage. They just can't hold up against that sort of thing. They're just too clumped up in these fights, so NinjaHund's going to have to spread out a lot in order to capitalize on his units here. If he keeps blobbing up, he's going to take more damage. Also, here you can see these Knights have been doing a lot of damage to the Claw and Gash, but a huge upgrade Invocation of Heck is going to heal everything in this area, and the Claw and Gash is going to heal stuff himself as well. So it's going to keep all this stuff in the fight. You can see the Red Duke and the Terror guys are both basically on half health. Not half health, full health, which is pretty great. So here you can see that Chain Lightning we were talking about earlier. That's going to try and char through some of these units, but amazingly the zombies are kind of outrunning it. So the Marauders are charging in to stop these guys, but the Chain Lightning might actually damage some of the Marauders too. But it looks like he's getting lucky. It is going up to one. No, it's actually hurting a lot. Oh no. So, another breath attack coming in. So, any damage these guys are taking, they can't recover from it. So, all these valuable units getting hit by breath attacks, that's going to stack up very quickly. There are a lot of breath attacks, and it's just going to keep whittling down the health. Chaos have no way of healing through this. So it's going to be very dangerous. You can see the Claw and Gash, more health than when we last saw it. It's healed up a fair bit, and it's nowhere near anything dangerous. So another Burning Skull, that is going to char through a lot of these zombies and skeletons. So, yeah, not too bad. Not bad a hit there. So, pretty good. So the Chaos Knights have actually gone round the other way, but the Terrorgeist is keeping these guys busy. The cheap spears are taking a lot of the damage from the Knights, and the Terrorgeist is able to get a lot of damage in, so that's very dangerous. Summoners of Rage now very low on health, the Dragon Ogres very low on health, but they both got pretty good models still. You know, 9 and 11, they haven't really lost many models, so they're still useful. They still have their DPS. But at this point, things have thinned out so much that the Terrorgeist, the Red Duke, and the Mortis Engine are all on standby to take out Archaon, who is taking a ton of damage. And there is still so much chaff getting in the way of all this potential backup. So you can see the Dragon Ogres are trying to help, but of course the healing from the Claw and Gash is going to be very useful. It's going to keep these guys in the fight for longer. And the Red Duke coming in once more to take out Archaon. And he is going to take a lot of damage here. And you can see upgraded Invocation to Heck. Now he'll just be able to heal through all the damage he is taking with his Terrorgeist, which is pretty good. So other Terrorgeist probing as well. So I mean 2 Terrorgeist, both pretty much full health. The Red Duke's barely been touched, Archaon's nearly dead, and all the strong units are basically wiped out. All that's left is, well, some Marauders are fairly healthy because they kept running away before they took too much damage. So more zombies about to be summoned, but it's too late. Army losses has taken hold. So that is a Pyrrhic victory. I mean, you know, you say Pyrrhic, the only thing that was lost was zombies. I guess they did lose a lot. I mean, look at this. I mean, 1,000 units dead, but when it's zombies, who cares, really? You know, they're there to die. Again, I suppose. That's, you know, that's their one job. Just to be in the way, be pincushions. So it went pretty damn well, I think, for Tlaxtlan Soothsayer there. NinjaHund's army, I think, was pretty good. There's a lot of really good shock damage here, but I just don't think he was microing enough. He wasn't getting enough charges in. And going all in one clump, I mean, yeah, you can put a lot of pressure on one side and hope to capitalize on that, just keep pushing forward, but you need to keep getting those charge bonuses off with something like Chaos Knights that have such a huge charge bonus. And you can't be, you know, a big target for those big breath attacks. You're just going to lose too many models there, you know. It's going to be impossible not to get value out of a breath attack if there's a load of units all stacked on top of each other. So, yeah, he needed to space more for this to work. And now, just to be a little bit weird, because obviously this was from the Everchosen Tournament, which did go out live, we're actually going to cut to, well, me and Dogbert over in the studio a week ago. Yes, this is a time-traveling replay. Isn't that fun? So, over to me.
Well, that was an exciting matchup. So, Janet, on occasion, what was your thoughts on that matchup?
I think it went kind of as expected. Because I think vampire counts tend to win out. Just the fact they're unbreakable and they can heal, and Chaos can't. So things like the Mortis Engine, damage over time, there's no way to recuperate from that. So it just becomes a war of attrition. So Soothsayer basically just came in with a load of fodder, and everything got bogged down. So Archaon, he got, I think, 204 kills, which is unbelievable. But when you think it's all zombies and skeleton warriors, that doesn't really gain you much of an advantage in the match. They are there just to be killed. But I thought it was an interesting pick to have Archaon. He has the Crown of Domination, I believe it is, which makes everything around you immune to psychology. So fear and terror effects get ignored. And that is a big thing that the Vampire Counts can bring to the table. So to be able to negate that is incredible. Also, Law of Fire is really useful with Flaming Sword of Ruin, because it imbues fire and magic attacks. So for, you know, big buff for a load of units nearby. So what you end up with is ethereal units that are weak to magic. You can't risk bringing them. And they're a great thing that the Vampire Counts can bring, but they can't risk it. So you lose those tools. And then fire damage is really good against Terrorgeists, Vargulfs, anything that regenerates, basically, which is a lot of the Vampire Count roster. So Law of Fire and having immune psychology made Archaon a really interesting pick. So that was really cool to see. But I think he just couldn't withstand that perpetual damage, you know, those breath attacks coming in. Those were all far too costly. He just added up. So,
yeah, it did seem just eventually just being overwhelmed by sheer weight numbers. And like you said, if you can't cut through that chaff, then you know that sword eventually gets you in the gut. Coming into second matchup, though, what do you think he's going to try and buck the trend? It's 1-0 down of a potential best of 3. I mean, he obviously wants to come out all guns blazing on this one.
Oh yeah, I mean he's going to be. It's tough. He might either go for something very risky. That he thinks will either win or it won't. He might gamble, or he might go with it's kind of a safe bet. So he might go with something like Dark Elves in the second round, which are fairly reliable. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. They have all their bases covered. So he might want to play it safe in the second round to try and, you know, get it back to 1-1. So I'm definitely interested to see who he picks and who Soothsayer picks.
Yeah, does he have a conventional army he usually plays? Is that with players at this level? Do they have safe picks that they usually go to, or is it usually more just down to what at the time is kind of working?
I mean, I think it depends from person to person. Most people have their own kind of play style, and so certain factions complement that play style better. So NinjaHund tends to go for high DPS. So high damage per second, and he tries to kind of overwhelm the front line and use that momentum to overwhelm the rest of the army, and sort of secure victory that way. But there are some issues with the rule set limiting a lot of big sort of monstrous infantry and things like that, so he's going to have to diversify, which is going to be interesting. So we might see him moving from the monstrous infantry to more cavalry as well, so he can try and get around the flanks to get that damage in. So he might go with something like Norska, that are very heavy hitting. I mean, Chaos he's already used, and they're a prime example of a faction that behaves like that. So I think my money's on Norska in this next one. I could be wrong, but I reckon he might be doing that.
All right, well, guys in chat there, let us know who you think's going to win this matchup. As it stands, Soothsayer has taken the first game, and it's NinjaHund to rally, otherwise he's going out in 2-0. So, Churin, Kaliantarkus, take us away for game 2.